All right, we're good?
Good. Make it bigger and this one. Do you want to come this way so we can?
I see.
Right,
So-
boys. Salud.
Maybe you can.
We go.
Felipe is actually at La Pradera. That's where we process all the coffee.
Oh, amazing.
And then
All right, cool.
let's enjoy some coffee. Thank you, Oscar.
All right, let's maybe okay, gotcha. So what?
No, we're gonna start.
So I'll go this side.
No, we'll go whatever you want.
So, hey guys, how you doing today? We are at Cofinet. Matias and the Filipe are joining us, you know, direct from farm. We're here to release a extraordinary exotic coffee, I guess in line with these guys who are obviously direct from Colombia. But yeah, how you going, mate? What's going on?
Very good. Well, I'm just enjoying Australia. Thank you guys for having an amazing country, and well, just doing what we can do.
Yeah, nice.
With what we have.
And today, Filipe, I obviously wanted you to come on to obviously explain some of the coffee that we're obviously tasting. So again, thank you so much.
What are we having?
Thank you.
Oscar,
Thank
what
you,
are you
man.
having? No, come over. Just
Coffee.
come introduce the
You
coffee.
go, boys.
We've got the Rafa here.
Rafael Amaya, Caturra natural.
Natural.
That's it as well.
Yeah.
All right, this is extraordinary. So what I want to do with this is obviously go espresso and filter. For us, I want to take, you know, get the understanding, I guess, in the coffee industry that, you know, you can use super specialty for espresso as well. And I think this would work extremely well. This is a beautiful, beautiful coffee. But I'm more interested to hear more about the Sidra. Tell me more about that.
Of course, man. Actually, for us to be able to get our hands on Sidra seeds was super hard. This varietal is super unique.
Yeah.
I'm from Ecuador, so we're very, very lucky to be able to connect with one of the few farms that were growing Sidra 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And managed to bring the seeds all the way from Ecuador to Colombia. And it's the first time we've seen Sidra in our region. So in Quibdó, Colombia is the first Sidra to be produced.
Yeah.
And it's been 3 years for us waiting for those trees to grow. It's been a big investment and a big risk as well because we do not know much about these trees. Like, it's the first time we're growing them and there's no one who can assist us with them. But we're super happy with the complexity in the cup. It's one of the sweetest coffees we've ever tried.
Yeah.
A lot of the strawberry and ginger is super complex.
Absolutely, mate. When Matias, when we cupped it, you know, we had a whole bunch there. And so I was like, well, these are good, but what else do you have? And so he presented this. And so, yeah, it blew my mind. I obviously, you know, consigned it straight away. And I guess it's really, you know, I'm really honoured to be able to obviously share this with the rest of Australia at a consumer level. Not the, you know, me and you who are like, you know, connoisseurs of coffee. I want to remove the wanky piece out of the ability for people to try coffee at home at this sort of level. So love your work, and of course, I think, you know, we can do some magic together in the next 12 months.
Of course, man, that sounds amazing. It's actually not easy to get these coffees to the end consumer. Usually, it's only coffee professionals that have access to this quality, so it's amazing that you're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, want to big you up because, you know, for us, it's really important to work direct from farm and be aligned with, you know, wholesalers who actually do the same thing. So I heard your story about, you know, your alignment with all the farms that, you know, you work so closely. So it's not like you're reselling coffee, you're actually working direct with farms. So it's really good to see, guys. Really proud of you.
Yeah, probably something that maybe Felipe can explain later. Well, I come from a different background, totally different background, and as soon as I joined Cofinet, they told me, okay, our goal is to just bring quality of coffee a little bit higher. There were no naturals and honeys back then. There was a law that didn't allow Colombian coffee to. It had to be only washed coffee, and then we started to do this honeys and natural, and then we start to teach people for free, no contract, nothing, to teach how to do processed natural, like honeys and natural. and say, okay, and then what happened? No, well, if the coffee is nice, we buy the coffee and we sell it. We bring it over and we sell it.
Yeah.
Back then it was only Australia. And they say, okay, and what happened if somebody else offer more money and they can sell it.
Yeah.
But we are teaching how to do that. Yes, and they can sell it to somebody else, like our competitors. Yes, but why? It was like I couldn't understand. But yeah, that's kind of the mindset of the company to share a lot of knowledge. So everything that we do is based on the standard tools that every single farmer has.
Yes.
And that probably later he will explain a little bit more about the EF2. It's another process that we develop at Cofinet, and we teach everybody how to do it.
Amazing.
So we're an open book on many things that we do.
Yeah, and I guess, Filipe, I wanted just to let you know how we operate as well. And what I want to be as a company, coffee company, 100% transparent around, working together. And that means that we are all about passing the price point on and working with you directly. So essentially, we at the end of every exotic profile or specialty profile, we have a certificate of authenticity, which says we bought it from you direct from farm, and we are, with costs to be able to roast and distribute, this is what it's worth. So I guess for me, it's really important just to set the scene that we're being 100% transparent and working with you directly. I mean, the cups are extraordinary, right? Like out of control, but this Sidra is another level. I mean, I've tasted a lot of Gesha in my life, but when it comes to some of the coffee that, we want to distribute together, it's another level. So what we're doing is, obviously we've got 90 grams of the Sidra that's coming out, which will be obviously in a beautiful canister with strawberry label, which is my thing. And then it's going to be coupled with the Rafa, which is obviously another beautiful Caturra, and it's obviously a natural, so that someone can obviously do a V60 and then do an espresso if they like. And so part of the initiative of what I've done in the past is I've actually gone ahead and put specialty coffee in cans. So the Filipe will actually go in a specialty can of a 4-pack as well, which means people that don't know how to dial in coffee will just get a can that can be chilled, and it'll be a natural as well. So we're going to release that together.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Sounds great. And thank you for taking the time to connect with me. It's super encouraging that we get to meet the roasters that is actually taking care of our coffee. So thank you.
No, my pleasure.
Please.
Absolutely. And so I don't know how much you know about Barty, but I suppose our primary focus is mental health, just bringing awareness to mental health and the importance of mental health. We obviously have coffee on the side for people to understand that, when you're dialing in an extraordinary coffee in the morning, you're so present, and, you're thinking about doing that. You get a good coffee and you get to set yourself up for the day. So the next piece that I've just come back from Everest is really trying to get people off the grid, which is really important. So, Filipe, if this goes all well, I'll be coming to see you in Colombia.
I'm looking forward to it. Please come over.
Yeah.
The Sidra trees as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What else were you going to say?
No, probably, do you want to share a little bit more about the process, the EF2?
Yeah.
Probably you were a little interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's something that we developed, 3 years ago?
Yes, actually the EF2, we came up with this process 3 years ago after a year of trial, especially because, as Matias mentioned before, producing naturals in Colombia is just something very new. And we were one of the first ones to do it, so we wanted to be ahead of everyone else. So we started developing fermentation protocols for naturals. And this one is actually the one that for us works better with exotic varietals such as geishas, Filipe Bourbons, Javas, and the Sidra as well. Because you can get a bit of the fermentation flavor, but you're also respecting all the natural characteristics of the varietal.
Yep.
So you can actually do the fermentation and taste through the fermentation, and it's an amazing cup. Super clean, but also it's got the power of the natural.
Yeah. Going back to what I mentioned before, we could have bought machinery, we could have bought a stainless steel tank. Everything we do is with the basic tools that everybody has. So we have water tanks that every single farmer in Colombia has. We use grain pro bags that at least every single farmer that works with us needs to have in the farm. So everything we do is, we don't have stainless steel. We put everything grain pro bag. We seal it. We put in water tank to control temperature. Everything that we do, all those processes were based on the standard tools that any farmer has, so they can replicate it later.
Amazing. I mean, I've got a couple of ideas how to, obviously, I come from a technical background, so very like software development and, you know, data and all that sort of stuff. I've had a vision around how do we help farmers dial up the farm. So start putting sensors into the soil and in the wind and the air and the weathering, right? So that if we were to collect all this data over a course of like a year or 2 years or 4 years, could you imagine that when you produced certain crops, you could look back at the data and go, shit, that was a really good vintage. That was the data that created this vintage. So that's something I also want to obviously start working with you guys about, if it's possible, you know, further down the track, to see whether we can start collecting this data around, you know, weathering and all this sort of stuff. So that's something I've sort of had under the radar. But yeah, I'd be interested to talk to you more about that.
Of course, man, that's something super new for us, and it's actually something that is not being done at the moment. But we also believe it can be super helpful.
Yeah.
So we're super happy to hear how we can help as well.
Exactly the same farming is kind of done in India and Nepal. As I've come back from Nepal, I'm also working with a couple of farms in Nepal. So they're asking me, and I'd like to get you guys to help as well. But like they're asking me to turn around and go, right, show us how to roast, show us how to produce coffee, show us how to do all this sort of stuff. There's a lot of countries still in the world that, for example, have no idea what they're doing. And I suppose they do a crop, they finish a crop and then they sell it and it's whatever. But if we start thinking about potentially how do we dial up, how do we get more data, I think that's going to be a game changer for everyone else. Because if you start thinking about the value of that crop, you can now turn around and say, well, we know this crop is at the highest level, and as a result, you know, we can demand a certain price for it. So I think that's super, super exciting that nothing's ever been done before. And so again, Filipe, thank you so much for your time. Mate, the coffee is extraordinary, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next 6 to 12 months.
We look forward to it as well. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay. Bueno, thank you, Felipe.
Thank you, mate. We'll talk to you very soon.
Of course, anytime.
See you, mate. Take it easy. Bye.
Okay. Awesome.
So yeah, thank you so much for your time. Again, I'm keen to release those 2 coffees as soon as possible.
Okay.
As soon as I get home, I'll produce this and then we'll get it out.
Well, beautiful.
But probably, like, to be fair, last time we got involved with, you know, producing and releasing some seriously, you know, high-end coffee, it was hard to actually sell. And that was probably due to the fact that people in our country don't understand the quality that comes out from the rest of the world.
It's just different. It's just the Australian market tends to be a milk-based market.
Correct.
There is probably a percentage that is maybe a little bit smaller that prefer to try like black coffee.
Yeah.
Different to Asia. Asia tend to have more black coffee rather than milk coffee.
Yeah.
But it's just a time of, you cannot expect somebody to like something that when you talk about coffee, you imagine a particular flavor for coffee.
Yeah.
You want your coffee to taste like coffee. No, not burn, but you want your coffee to taste like coffee. Yeah, and normally you are used to put some sugar and that stuff. Some people, I know because I have friends that they don't work on this, and I had to explain them, okay, what you're going to try, it doesn't taste like coffee. No. It tastes like flowers, it tastes like mango, it tastes like strawberries, and when you match that expectation, that's when they go, okay, yes, I like this.
And especially
if you just give a coffee just like that, and they try to say, is this coffee? Like,
and then you start thinking about pairing it with food, and you know, when you start tasting coffees like this, then you can,
like you do with wine.
Like you do with wine. Yeah. And so I think, you know, that's a level of education a lot of people haven't understood, that actually, you know, it's a vintage. Like, what drives me what drives me insane is the whole concept of how can a coffee taste the same every year, a year, a year?
Yeah.
Like it's almost impossible. You don't get similar wines tasting the same. There's different weathering and vintages and all that sort of stuff, right? It's the same thing with coffee.
Yeah. But there are processes, there are a lot of things that can be done to make sure. Yeah, obviously, it's a product. It's gonna change.
Yeah.
But there are protocols that you can try to implement to
Yeah.
try to keep things
Yeah.
the same way.
Yeah,
They
no.
might be from lot to lot. There might be some different. It's coffee. I can have a coffee that roasts in the same machine, the same beans and everything, and put in 3 different packages, and the 3 different packages
Tastes different.
can taste a little bit different
Yeah.
because it is coffee.
That's
It is.
right.
You can do everything. You can roast. You have the best bean, the best roaster, the best everything. But the barista doesn't know how to dial
it in.
and one day and the next day it's gonna taste different.
The roastability, the dialing in, all that process takes a bit of effort to get that coffee like absolutely correct, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's a natural product. Like people don't understand that, you know, when it comes to this sort of stuff, some vintages are good, some aren't, and you know, it's our job to be able to explain, obviously, that you know that there's a massive difference, and when we do find something that's such extraordinary, like the Sidra, like that's just another level. And this is why we've, you know, wanted to produce cans, coffee in cans, cold chilled coffee, because then, you know, the recipe and what goes in is right on, so that people actually understand, you know, that A, it's really expensive, it's really hard to dial in, and I want to remove that whole piece of the anxiety when you are spending like $100 for a bag of 90 grams. Like, what do you do with that? So we wanted to, you know, help along that process.
Beautiful. But the key element for to present those kind of coffees to dedicate some time to explain where it's coming from, what it's about, and all that stuff is when you say to somebody, okay, this is something different, and you need to dedicate time to educate people to understand, to give value to what, because if they don't know,
absolutely, they'll just treat my coffee, right?
You can have a wine. You can have a wine that is, I know, $30, and then you have another that is $100.
Yeah.
But if you're not trained on appreciate the quality of the wine, you might not see the difference.
And also the palate. I mean, I'm just going to round this out, but like there's a palate piece. Some people, you give them this type of coffee, and they go, "Oh, it just tastes like coffee."
Yeah.
And they don't understand because their palate's not educated, right?
Exactly.
But the more you taste, the more you understand.
Exactly.
Like wine. So like fine champagne. There is a true difference between like a Dom Perignon and, you know, a Prosecco.
Actually, no, I don't know much about champagne.
And so just to round this out, I mean, what's the plan for the next 12 months for Cofinet? Like, where are you guys headed?
Well, we are always planning to keep growing, and probably increase now. We started last year with Peru. We're very happy. Initially, Peru was already in the plans. The plan was to buy a farm and do exactly the same thing that we do in Colombia. I think there is a lot of value that we can add over there because they're quite behind on fermentation and processing. So the plan for this year, this is something I don't know if I can share, but is to buy a farm over there and start to train people how to process
We have
coffee.
a beautiful decaf that comes from Peru. It's obviously a Swiss washed, but like it's not even, it doesn't even taste like a decaf, because I want to move down the line of beautiful natural decafs. And obviously, a lot of people don't appreciate decafs. And so, as a mental health charity,
actually,
a lot of people.
Now I have to tell you something that you don't know. There's something new, and it just landed on Friday. We did the first from Filipe Arcila.
Right.
We processed Castillo Natural, and we decaffeinate that coffee.
Amazing.
And we got the sample, and it's amazing.
Sign me up.
Okay.
Okay, the reason why I say that is because we're a mental health charity, a lot of people actually don't drink coffee, but they like the taste of it, right? So they understand that, you know, coffee gives them a spike, and they're going to high anxiety, all that sort of stuff. But then people don't understand that, you know, specialty coffees actually don't give you that particular spike. There's based on altitude, there's a different strength in coffees as well, right?
I think it's more about varietal. It's more about the varietal.
Sure, right? So what I want to explore this year, like for us, is to be able to release a specialty range of decafs for the same purpose. So, mate, I can't believe we've been talking about it. So that's
Okay,
amazing.
no, that's something new. Something new is actually coming in the newsletter very soon.
Right.
And the coffee is already in the water. It's coming here. We got the sample on Friday, last Friday, 1 week ago. And everybody that cup it, we always do blind cupping like
Yep.
the one you did.
Yeah.
And when people try it, they
It
just
doesn't matter.
people that saw the
Yeah.
beans, they realized it was a decaf. But the one that
Yeah.
didn't, and one person just cupped it, and when we flip it over, because it was insane. It was really good.
Yeah,
We're very
yeah.
happy. So I think there will be a lot more experimentation on that
Right.
that side, because it's the first. We did already a Tabi decaf. We
Right.
got the varietal Tabi. We processed the decaf.
Yep.
It got sold like this. And then this time we just want to do a little bit farther. We did a Castillo Natural,
Right.
and the result was amazing. So right now we are already in the plans to do something.
Mate, sign me
New.
up. Because
Continue.
because we've obviously had a beautiful Peruvian decaf. Tastes like a dark chocolate, extraordinary, right? And I still have half a bag of it because a lot of people don't drink decaf.
You need to
Not
try the
good stuff.
Colombian decaf and not Swiss water. No, it's not. I don't have anything. I think the one that we process with sugar cane
Yeah, probably
has an amazing flavor.
Yeah, of course.
It's a coffee, it's a decaf that tastes like coffee. So you might need to try that.
Mate, well, invite me over to the next cupping.
No, I'll give you a sample right now. You can take it with you.
Great. Hey, Matias, thank you again for your time.
No,
It's
thank
been
you for
a
coming over.
Real pleasure, and what's in store for the next 6-12 months? I can't wait. Super excited.
Beautiful.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much.
It's been a real pleasure.
Awesome. Okay. Bye.